What's up, everybody? Welcome to the episode 2 of the Will and Rock podcast. My name is Will.
I'm Rock.
And today we're going to be discussing a little bit about MMA news, some rumor fights, and we're also going to be talking about, responding to some questions from YouTube.
We just want to thank everybody for the love on YouTube, on Instagram. Somewhat overwhelming.
Yeah.
So we gladly appreciate it. People who've left comments on our YouTube page, we will be answering that in a bit. And we're also going to start a Twitter page as well, and we'll talk a little further that towards the ending of the podcast.
Sounds good.
So the first fight that we want to discuss is something that seems to already be official. Dana had mentioned that it's official, and also we're really hyped for it because it's going to be in MSG, New York City. Michael Bisping versus George St. Pierre.
Right.
We had discussed this the other day. I really want George. If George comes out like the same fighter he was 3 fights before he left, to me this is an easy work fight for George St. Pierre. We also discussed. I had mentioned to you actually that even though I love Michael Bisping, he's literally one of my favorite fighters because he's one of these guys that just doesn't give a fuck and he goes in there and he gives it his all. But there's so many fighters that surround him. From Whitaker, which is, man, this kid is going to be something special. How old is he? 24 years old, something like that?
He's a young bug, and he's got lightning behind his hands.
You got Romero. You have Chris Weidman. You have Luke Rockwell. You have Sosa. Like, there's so many great fighters in that division, which I guess makes some sort of a statement of Michael Bisping being champion in that division. But he didn't go through all that.
I think that we're, like I told you before as well, is like we're sleeping on Michael Bisping. He has a belt for a reason. People just dismiss him because I think it has a lot to do with the fact that this is a guy that is a big mouth. He doesn't give a fuck. He's one of the most competitive freaking fighters in all of UFC. And this is from hearing from people when he does broadcasting with, and he doesn't agree with somebody, he'll like eat him up, like chew him up. So that means he just doesn't like to lose. The only times he has lost is people that have been caught with steroids, right? So we're looking at Dan Henderson, Anderson Silva, Vitor Belfort. All 3 fighters that were popped right after, saying that after they beat Michael Bisping. If you look at it like that, from that perspective, I don't see it being an easy fight. Whether George St. Pierre comes in as an old or brand new man, doesn't matter. I think it's a tough fight. I don't see George St. Pierre wanting to stand up with him. I do see George St. Pierre try to wrestle him, throw him down, and see if he could try to do some ground and pound.
Oh yeah. He's still training with the Gracies, so I think bringing him down and seeing what he got is jiu-jitsu. I'm pretty sure he got more agile too, because he didn't look so buff the last time we seen him. He's doing a lot of aerobics as well. That might loosen him up.
Yeah. He's been doing that for a while.
Yeah. Interesting enough, it's going to be an insane fight.
It is.
I think it's a great fight for Michael Bisping. The fact that he's taking maybe not the best George St. Pierre in his career, and I think it's a great fight for George St. Pierre to fight someone like Michael Bisping for the first fight, him coming back in that weight class, which he needs to keep.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't keep that weight on him, which I think this is a big weight for him to fight in, there's a lot of beasts in that division, bro. I would not want to be in that division if I was to fight him.
Well, you gotta remember, George St. Pierre wins that title, he's going to hold it for a while. We have to understand this guy defended his title way before as well. There was killers back then as well.
Yeah.
So there's but with that being said, it's an interesting fight. I can't wait to see that fight. It's most likely going to be up here in MSG, so we're probably going to have to go catch that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. What's the second one, Rock?
We're going to be talking about Anthony Pettis versus Dustin Poirier. Man. Yeah. Anthony Pettis, last fight, he looked amazing in his last fight. Dustin Poirier looked amazing in his last fight.
This is a perfect recipe for a bang. I love it. When I see like somebody like Edson Barbosa, Anthony Pettis, Poirier, even Ferguson, like these fighters that come in and they just like staying toe to toe, and it's like the best skill wins. I love it. That's one of my favorite fights. That's a very interesting fight, man. I don't see wrestling going down in this. I don't see anybody trying to take anybody down. Two guys are going to come straight in the middle of the ring and they're going to bang it out. It's going to be very interesting.
So, game plan for Anthony Pettis, at least I feel, needs to keep a distance from him because his kicks need to land, and you know his kicks are freaking lightning fast.
Yeah,
so he needs to keep the distance versus Perrier that's going to have to, he's more of a like pushing. He pushes in, small hooks, you know. The game plan is going to win this fight. I mean, not that it doesn't for every other fight, but for this specific fight, if Anthony doesn't keep the distance, and if Perrier can continue to push in, it's going to be a toss-up. But who's going to really, you know, take this victory?
Yeah, I that's a very good point. I'm the same. I was going to say the same exact thing. Pettis needs to keep his distance from him because his leg shots is what he's known for. He has great hands. He showed a great performance this last fight. So. I do believe that Pettis might take this one, personally. I'm making a prediction right now. I mean,
if you think about it, Anthony Pettis has submitted top champions as well, you know, so...
Ben Henderson being one of them.
Yeah, oh, jeez, man, that's insane. Poor guy. What the hell happened to Ben Henderson? Bellator and disappeared, man.
He lost his last fight. He's actually going to fight soon as well. Yeah,
oh, really?
But that's a different story. Anyways, the next one we're going to talk about... oh, by the way, who you have? You have Dustin Poirier?
No. I got Anthony Pettis on this one. It's not because I'm more of a Pettis fan, but I think overall this fight better suits Pettis than it does Dustin.
I would agree.
Dustin Poirier, but we'll see.
The next one is... Tony Ferguson versus Kevin Lee.
Oh man,
are you that excited for this fight?
I am excited for this fight. First of all, do we really must say much about Tony Ferguson? Tony Ferguson is one of these guys that takes any fight at any time. He doesn't bitch and moan about who they give him. He's wiped a certain division. He came from The Ultimate Fighter. There's nothing like seeing somebody come from The Ultimate Fighter and you're like, this guy stands no chance in the octagon. More like Michael Johnson. I always think about Michael Johnson.
You know what I think about? I think about Rashard Evans because he actually became a champion. But that's a very good point you're bringing up. It's these people that come, you see them on The Ultimate Fighter and you're like, oh man, these guys need a lot of work. And then you slowly see them developing in the octagon. It's a beautiful thing to watch.
It's a beautiful thing, and also great matchmaking when they set these guys up for next fights. And as soon as they have some sort of momentum, they throw you in that freaking jungle when you find the top 5 fighters there, you know? Yeah. So Ferguson is now, for him to be in the position that he's in, which I favored Tony for this fight. He's fighting Kevin Lee. It almost makes, depending on how he wins, which I'm crossing my fingers for him, honestly. Depending on how he wins, this is like a freaking fight made in heaven. If for some weird freaking reason, they don't want to give him the belt for whatever reason, or they don't want to give him a shot for the belt.
Who's that? For
Tony Ferguson.
Yeah. Well, this is. Oh, we have to keep this in mind. This is for an interim title. It's an actual. If it gets booked, again, it's a rumor, so it's not 100% signed. But if it passes, it's for an interim title. It's an interim title. Also, Murnagoda, I can't even pronounce the guy's name. The baddest Russian in the game. He's not fighting. I don't know if this fight is going to go through because this guy has been waiting for a fight too. Now, mind you, he couldn't make the last fight, and that's the fight we've been looking to watch for a long time, man. Looking forward to that. But I don't see Kevin Lee, I don't think is ready for a guy like Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson, I smell a first or second KO. Mark my words on that.
That Tony will knock him out?
Tony's relentless. He just continue going, small punches in the first rounds. It's going to open him up a little bit, and then you're going to start to see him putting work on the second round. And I see KO. I got Tony Ferguson KOing Kevin Lee in the second round. No disrespect to Kevin Lee. He's a tremendous fighter, but I don't think from beating his name. I forgot his name. Chelsea, who the guy that he submitted, and supposedly it was like earlier stoppage or whatever, premature stoppage. Anyways, from that to getting to Tony Ferguson, there's a big gap. Big gap.
That weight class is not stacked like that. That weight class is not stacked like that to really say that. But, I mean, I can see why they gave Kevin Lee this opportunity. He's very promotable. He's a very promotable guy. But at the end of the day, I also have Tony Ferguson winning this fight. Second round knockout. I don't know. I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna give a round. Because Tony's relentless. I will say Tony's gonna win this fight. I really don't see Kevin Lee's skills really matching up to Tony at this point. Not the way Tony's been looking these freaking last couple
What
fights.
are you looking for? Submission, KO, or decision?
No, I think this is gonna go to decision, man.
Yeah.
I really is gonna go to decision. I think Tony, even though Tony's so relentless, there needs to be, especially when you're in that position where there's so much hype on you right now.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta take a step back. You don't want to put that Jose Aldo where you're gonna rush in there and get clipped. You know?
Yeah,
So,
no, I do agree, and it's a 5-round fight, so it's going to be very interesting. We have to think about that as well. Ferguson has a tremendous lungs. I mean, his cardio is amazing. He's going to be there for a while. So, that's that. So we got both on Tony Ferguson, correct?
Yeah, we both got.
Bam. The next one is.
Jeez, man, Brock Lesnar versus John Jones. Now, once again, guys, just a rumor. Jones, if you guys don't remember, he did call out Brock Lesnar at the ending of the Daniel Cormier fight. He called them out. That fight goes down, bro. That's gonna be fucking legit, man.
Yeah, and it's dope to see. Listen, I don't think that Brock Lesnar deserves to come back into the UFC and fight, especially against John Jones. But we need to look forward to something now, because we're in the age right now, right, or in the last few months, that the whole MMA and boxing has been completely shut down because of this McGregor versus Conor fight.
Absolutely.
Mayweather versus Conor fight. Excuse me. So with that being said, like, I want to look forward to what's going to happen in the UFC. If people are looking to know what Conor is planning on doing right after he fights Mayweather, they're not even thinking about who else to watch. Nobody's going to sell out these arenas anymore. This fight between Brock and John Jones is going to sell out arena without a doubt. Easiest promotional fight ever, because John Jones talks crap.
I'm really curious where they're going to place them. Who's going to be the undercards or something like that. Well, if it obviously happens.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree with you.
And the question is, obviously, John Jones is going to have to pick up weight to go into heavyweight, because there's no way in hell Brock Lesnar is going to come down to light heavyweight.
I think Jones is going to be he walks on heavyweight level. I think, I don't think it's going to be a huge problem in either or for them to meet. Obviously, it'll be nice for them to do a catch weight versus him going full heavyweight. Well, it's not far from what, and you figure Jones walks around like that as well. The question is, what game plan does someone like freaking Brock Lesnar
bring into the table?
Well, yeah.
Just he needs to get a hold of him.
Okay, and then take him down and get submitted?
Well, that's his best chance is to grab him and just grind him on his feet as much as possible. There's only a matter of time before John Jones takes your ass to the floor. But with that being said, if he has a chance, he's just going to have to try to grind on his feet. I don't see him holding down John Jones on the floor, even if he does happen to take a takedown.
I wonder if Jones will be okay with being taken down.
Absolutely. I don't see him why he would even worry about that. I just don't think. I don't see Brock Lesnar beating John Jones. Let's just leave it at that. We don't see him beating John Jones. John Jones is the greatest fighter of all time, as we mentioned that in our last podcast. But it's still something to look forward to watch. You know, it's going to bring some people to the feet, something to look forward to, especially the commotion that we
and they both know how to promote a fight. That's the great thing. Someone like Brock Lesnar, does WWE. He's on a microphone all the time. He knows how to promote this fight. So we'll see what happens if this fight comes to fruition. Like you said, it's something to look forward. Huh?
Which I hope it does.
Yeah. It's something to look forward to, and it almost, if they can, think about it, an ideal situation. This is just an ideal situation. The Conor McGregor versus Mayweather fight ends. Next commercial, John Jones and Brock Lesnar just appear on the screen or some crazy shit like that.
Oh, you mean like for promotion purposes? That'll be fucking dope.
This is gonna be by Showtime.
Showtime is one in a lot. That'll be hilarious.
But tell me that wouldn't be dope, man.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out where you going with this. I'm like, I thought you meant like Conor winning or losing, who knows, and then fighting in the same card as Brock and Jones. I'm like, what
that's retarded.
Yeah.
The last minute thing, it won't happen.
Anyway, so I don't want to get stuck into this too much. I think it's an amazing fight. It's a great spectacle, but I don't see it being in competition for John Jones, personally. I don't.
No, I agree.
The next one is Frank Mir is going to be signing to Bellator. UFC officially released them, but he's still going through that 2-year suspension from the steroids that he was taking. With that being said, we look forward to seeing Frank Mir in Bellator.
For me, that's a great thing. If he wants to revive his career, which I don't think he has much left in it, and he was fighting with steroids and looking okay.
Yeah.
He gets off steroids. What really is he gonna do? Besides, and he was just like he was in that point where his boxing game was really good.
Yeah.
What is he gonna do now? He's gonna rely on his jiu-jitsu, which
Well,
is totally
yeah,
not a bad
but
thing.
with that being said, he's going to Bellator. I mean, he's not re-signing with the UFC. That way we'll be like, okay,
No, true. And the heavyweight class on Bellator, it's not really that serious.
It's
gonna fight Chicago,
But it's nice. But it's not. That's the first thing that came to mind. Congo. I think it's a great fight. I think those two will match best. It could be a fucking snooze fest, or Congo knocks him out.
No, I don't think that fight will be a snooze fest. I think they'll throw punches.
Do you not see Jack Congo's last 3 fights? He's won all of them, all decisions. People booing him. It's like a Mayweather fight, bro.
I know, but he's fighting somebody with experience who's not gonna allow some grind and pound like that. You know what I mean?
Could be true.
So, anyways, end story. Frank Mir signs with Bellator. Once again, we both agree that that's the best move he got. He was either that or retire because the UFC was not gonna let him fight again. And last but not least, we had a couple of questions on YouTube. We have one of our followers here wrote a very, very interesting question. He mentioned that wouldn't it be a spectacle or according to the way he puts it, make a new weight class to have women and men fight against each other? First of all, I don't think there's enough options to do that because if you're going to throw anybody in the mix, I would say it would be just Chris Cyborg, right?
Yeah, I don't even
I don't like entertaining this.
I
don't like entertaining this at all. Thanks for the question.
Yeah, thanks for the question, but that is ridiculous. No, Chris Cyborg is not going to fight against any guys. It's not going to happen.
Well, I'm totally against it. It's bad enough that we're already seeing Conor McGregor try to go into boxing. It's bad enough that we had a boxer come in to the UFC and get demolished. There's a lot of different...
I wouldn't even compare those, but I do agree that...
It's a free show, bro.
Yeah, it's a free show. Yeah, free show.
I mean, you want to see that? Go tell the promoters in Japan. They'll probably put that fight up.
Yeah, for real.
So that was one of the questions that he had mentioned, and we both disagree. I just don't see it. He wrote, Woodley, I agree with the power boxing... Who do we think is another fight for Tyrone Woodley?
Tyrone Woodley, the next fight. He just finished beating Damian Maia, correct? And he also beat who did he beat? Wonderboy Thompson. Damn, that's a very good question. Who the hell do you put? I would have loved to see Georges St. Pierre come back and probably fight him versus Georges St. Pierre fighting Michael Bisping. Who do we see?
I thought that was Georges St. Pierre's best move for his weight class. But that doesn't make a difference. I think he's better off fighting Michael Bisping.
Okay, so. Damn, that's a good question, man. I can't think of anybody you could put him that is. We can't put him up against Wonderboy already. He lost twice. He beat Wonderboy twice already.
Masvidal.
What there you go.
That was Moskov. He plays for the Lakers. All right. Wow.
Masvidal would be actually a good fight for him.
Masvidal is actually the guy. He's the guy.
Well, think about it. He brings the fights. He brings the fight. The only question that we would, probably Masvidal is going to be taken down. That's actually something that you have to think about. If he decides to stand up with him, also you have to also think that But Tyron Woodley has tremendous hands. He's gonna knock you out. He has done it before. He's not gonna.
Yeah. The amount of power he possesses is freaking. He's freakish.
Yeah, he really is freakish. We also have to think about is Masvidal planning on what is he gonna do when he gets on the floor? All this stuff plays a big factor, whether or not. But that's probably the best fight. I do agree with you.
Yeah, but you keep in mind, Damian Maia submitted Masvidal. Fucking guy.
George Masvidal.
Yeah. Should he get one more fight before he jumps over to Tyron Woodley? Should he get one more fight? And do you want to? And do you consider putting the Wonder Boy for him to fight Wonder Boy? And that fight,
I wouldn't put that fight together.
Why is that?
Because we don't want to see Wonder Boy versus Tyron Woodley Part 3. It was a snooze fest. Both of them were a snooze fest. They don't want to see that. I don't care how Wonder Boy wins, like spectacular fashion. It's not gonna happen again. It's unfortunate because if anybody probably should have a belt as well, is freaking Wonder Boy. He's an amazing fighter. I was thinking actually, Robbie Lawler, although he only lost once to Tyron Woodley, it wouldn't be bad for a rematch. Robbie Lawler's coming up from a win with Donald Cerrone. And that could have easily be the first contender fight between Donald Cerrone. He's fucking been putting tremendous performances. So we have to also think about that. So we have to put him in the mix as well.
Oh man, now that I look, I mean, what's gonna be the money fight? The money fight's gonna be Robbie. Throwing Robbie in there with Woodley is the money fight. Throwing Masvidal in there, it's not a money fight. Masvidal is not known like that yet. I don't think he's really. Even though I feel like he deserves all the goddamn credit in the world, and I feel like he has the potential to make a ton of buzz. He's still not 100% there. But Robbie totally is, man.
I agree, man. That will be a very interesting fight. Come to think about it.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
So yeah, man. Anything else? Any other questions?
That was it. That was it.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. So we're gonna wrap this up. Make sure you guys follow us on the Will and Rock podcast on YouTube and at the Will and Rock podcast on Instagram. Our Twitter name
is the Rock and Will podcast. Is also Rock and Will Podcast. And also make sure you subscribe and also leave us some questions and some comments. We will definitely get back with you guys. Thank you everybody for tuning in and see you in the next episode.
Peace, guys.
Peace.